One of the photographers who captured the turmoil of the civil rights struggle was Ernest Withers. Over the courses of 60 years, he took many of the iconic photographs of events including the Montgomery bus strike and the Memphis sanitation workers strike. But Withers was keeping a secret that haunts his legacy. CBS 46's Keith Whitney joins us now to explain this. Keith?
Yeah, Vince, it was the Commercial Appeal newspaper in Memphis that revealed Withers' secret. Now, it was well known that his photos of King were iconic, well known that he was there at the Lorraine was assassinated. What was not so well known was the fact that he was an FBI informant, and he wasn't the only one. For a civil rights movement built on nonviolence, there was an awful lot of violence. And while it would be easy to blame the usual suspects from the Jim Crow era, that blame would be incomplete because Martin Luther King Jr. had also been betrayed by some in his own circle who were government spies.
People that we knew, people that we marched with, people that we sat down and ate with, people that were always in our headquarters or in our meetings, they were working for the government, and their whole plan was create an environment of dissension, create the confusion, get them to fight among themselves.
Tyrone Brooks was not surprised when celebrated civil rights photographer Ernest Withers was exposed as an FBI informant, because Withers, he says, had been outed decades earlier by MLK's closest lieutenants.
Dr. Abernathy arrives in Memphis, this is after the assassination, and here all of these reporters, want to interview him. And here's this tall black guy with a camera and a little recording machine, and had a tam on his head. And Dr. Abernathy specifically said to me, he said, that guy right there, he's an FBI informant. And he said, we know it, Ben Hooks knows it. He said, we've known for a long time.
In fact, Brooks says the movement was infested with infiltrators and Judas goats.
He says sometimes they will cause dissension, sometimes they will do things out there in the community to disrupt our activities, as they did in Memphis when Dr. King's march turned violent, and they, broke windows, turned over cars, set fires.
And Brooks fears that the spies within may have done more than share secrets with the forces that wanted to stop King. They may have also helped those who wanted to kill him.
Because I really believe firmly that some of those informants, Keith, had a lot to do with setting Dr. King up in Memphis. As I said earlier, when Dr. King and Abernathy first went to Memphis on March 18, 1968, they were staying at the Holiday Inn. But when they went back to Memphis, they were switched over to the Lorraine because it had a balcony.
Now, Brooks says King only changed hotels after a local paper in Memphis touched off a bit of a tempest in a teapot over the fact that he hadn't stayed in a black-owned motel earlier. The Lorraine Motel was Green Book certified for black folks' safety during Jim Crow, but unlike the other hotel, it also had that infamous balcony that gave the killer a clear shot. Vince.